Howdy. Welcome in on to the pre-show before the free show. Surprise!
We got you guys good.
I'm sure you guys were not expecting this.
We pulled an old switcheroo on. I gotta remember to lean in here. So surprise.
Yes. Very different. It's weird because I sat in that seat before you did.
Mm-hmm. You did.
This is your first time in this seat. This is my first time in this seat.
You are exactly right. So to peel back the curtain here, Tepper is off today. We recorded This Week in Recruiting. It's Wednesday. There's no surprise there. We recorded This Week in Recruiting yesterday, and we're going to fill in and kind of intermittently, we'll play the recording, do our normal thing. We don't hide any secrets from y'all here. But we decided that Mallory is going to run the show for the first time today. So like she said, this is weird for me, not only for you, but it's weird because this is my first ever time on a show that I'm not sitting over there at the helm. So we're throwing in the old switcheroo here.
And in the last 2 weeks, I've actually been sitting right beside you, trying to learn how to run the show. And you guys haven't noticed. I've been sitting right next to her, kind of watching how she runs things. And I was a little nervous because, sheesh, you do a lot.
It's a lot.
I mean, you do so much, and it's so incredible. Like, so talented on
thank you.
All levels,
but
how you do this.
It's funny because this is the perfect... So the reason that we're doing this, and I guess we'll peel back the curtain even more, is next week, Tepper is going to be on vacation. So for the first time, we're going to run the show for a week without him. So that's the reason that Mallory has been sitting over there, is she's been, like she said, literally for the past 2 weeks, I think every show basically, she's been sitting right to my right. You can't see her, but she's been there. But she's been training, and so this will be the first kind of easy way into getting into running the show. And then next week, full-fledged female Texas Football Today production here, because she'll be sitting over there at the helm, and I'll be here, the captain's chair. I don't want to give Tepper that much glory and call this the captain's chair, but for next week, it can be the captain's chair. Yeah, we're super excited. So yeah, we're up and live. That's really the big thing that we hope to do here. The other thing that's weird is I have to remember to kind of lean into the microphone here. So this is different for both of us. So hang with us if stuff doesn't go perfect. Mallory's not fired. I get fired all the time. So I still show up.
You get fired like 4 or 5 times a day.
4 or 5 times a day.
I think I got fired yesterday, but then I just decided to come back.
The key to it is just keep showing up.
Yes.
You just sit here and you keep coming into work, and they don't tell you to go away.
Yeah.
So
I mean, why wouldn't you want to be here? It's a great environment. It really is. I don't give you guys enough credit. It is a great environment. I love being here. No matter how many times I'm gonna get fired, I'm coming right back. I'm coming right back.
The best part about it is when Tepper says, "Oh, you're fired."
You kind of just laugh.
When you come back, it just irritates him more. So really, you're digging in and doing what you originally set out to do. You're doing it even more. So that's really what people come to this show to see. A Tepperless pre-show, a Tepperless full show,
all gals show.
Yeah, and we'll be, like we said, we'll be doing this for the next week. So Tepper and I will be back to normal tomorrow and Friday, but next week it'll be Mallory and I running the show. So
I'm excited. We got some good stuff planned too. We kind of planned out our week last week, or I guess yesterday it was, and we've got some good stuff planned. I'm really, really excited to kind of talk about some stuff we got going on.
It'll be a good week of show, some normal stuff, and we're gonna try and score. We'll tease this too. We're gonna try and hit up a big guest next week. So we'll see.
A mega big guest Thursday.
Yeah, mega big guest. I like that. We'll see if we can get mega big guest Thursday happening here.
Super excited. Yes.
But yeah, you know what? We're up. We're live. We're running. So you've checked off the first box. We'll go ahead.
I'm not fired yet.
Not yet. We got about 30 more minutes of a show to see if we can make that happen. But I like you. I don't know about anyone else, but all right. So there we go. We're up and running. Mallory, hit the theme expo.
Let's go.
Free money!
How to sing blue wing. Shot glass in your hand.
Yes, y'all. From the Dave Campbell's Texas Football Mothership in beautiful Louisville, Texas. It is Texas Football Today, a show on the internet. I am Ashley Pickle, the video director for Dave Campbell's Texas Football, a magazine, and TexasFootball.com, a corresponding website. Thank you for spending part of your day with us, whether you are watching us on TexasFootball.com, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, or listening to us on the podcast vendor, which you can listen to on the podcast vendor of your choice. Thank you for supporting your local mediocre internet show. I am sitting here in Tepper's usual spot, a little bit weird, but sitting over there at the helm is Mallory Hartley, our newest addition to the video team. Mallory, how are you today?
I'm great.
Good. Are you excited?
I am excited. I was not expecting to start today. This to be my very first day on the air. But I like it.
Good.
I like the impromptu.
Good. So for those of you listening to us on the podcast version, we'll go ahead and peel back the doors here since we did it in the pre-show. But next week, Tepper will be out on vacation all week, very well deserved after magazine season. And Mallory has been shadowing me for about the past 2 weeks. And she is going to be running the show from the helm all next week. And I'll be sitting over here in the captain's chair. And so we'll get that done. But we're going to go ahead and give her a trial run today. Today is Wednesday, June 2nd. 176 days until Thanksgiving, June 2nd. It is the birthday of Olympic soccer guru Abby Wambach. She's turning 40 today. So happy birthday, Abby. That's our new thing. We ditched it yesterday of doing Rangers numbers.
No more Texas Rangers numbers. Yeah, I saw that. And I was like, I woke up yesterday morning, and I was like, I wonder what they're going to do today.
Yeah, I had no idea until he said we're going to start going off of dates. So I found out today's Miss Abby's birthday. So happy birthday there. All right, this is, go ahead.
I just said happy birthday.
A happy birthday. This is show 1177. On today's show's friends, we have recorded This Week in Recruiting. Don't worry. Yep. Still brought to you by Chicken Express. We've still got powers on the thing. That part's normal. We're sitting in different chairs, but stick with us here. Content still the same. So we're going to do some recruiting, talk about some of the best prospects in the Lone Star State with next level athletes Greg Powers. And then in the back half of the show, we are joined by Coach Jerry Edwards, the head coach at Harker Heights down there in the Killeen area. We caught up with him at the Grapevine 7-on-7 SQT. Yes. And this past weekend, they qualified for state. This wasn't when we had talked to him, but afterwards they have qualified since then. So we're going to show the Killeen area a little bit of love there.
Maybe we're just lucky.
I think
that's
so.
why they qualified is because
we talked to them.
Interview them.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think that's exactly it.
I think you are exactly right there. We're going to go ahead, and I told Mallory we'll let her lean in, steer into the curve here. I'll go ahead and name first four through the door from the captain's seat over here. No problem. But it was Aaron Arbuckle, Rob Hadaway, Daniel Agnew, and Andrew Christensen. Welcome in, fellas.
Welcome.
All right. So, Mallory, up first, we do have yesterday, Tepper and I caught up with our mountain, everyone's favorite, Greg Powers from Next Level Athlete to talk about some recruiting and some of the top prospects in the state.
Absolutely.
So this is our conversation with Next Level Athletes, Greg Powers, for This Week in Recruiting.
I'm Greg Tepper. That's Greg Powers. And this is This Week
in Recruiting.
The delay's back. This Week in Recruiting with Greg Powers of Next Level Athlete. Follow him on Twitter at GPowerScout. Follow Next Level Athlete on Twitter, Next Level D1. See his fine work at TexasFootball.com/recruiting. And, of course, this segment is brought to you by our good chicken friends at Chicken Express. Chicken Express. I ate it this weekend, and it was great.
Ringing endorsement.
It's about,
never disappoints. Chicken Express never disappoints.
That's a good one.
That is good, and it's very true. Like, I'm not going to mention any other names. I'm not going to mention any other names. I'm just going to say you go some places, and it can be inconsistent. Chicken Express, you're getting all-out effort. That motor's always running. It's a high-effort place. The motor's always running. You know what you're getting from Chicken Express every single time.
You want to know the most undervalued thing about Chicken Express is the cleanliness of the restaurants. I mean, this place is spectacularly clean every time I go in.
Dude, that's true.
And, like, chicken's like a greasy meal too. Like, it's not something like it would be easy for that to be like really kind of
gross,
like grimy. You know, you sit down at the table and you go, "Ooh, that's not clean," but it's not.
No.
Good calling out.
It's always very clean.
Good idea, Powers.
Go eat inside
Chicken Express. The more Chicken Express, the more we talk about it, the more boxes it checks. I mean, it just checks all the boxes.
Speaking of checking all the boxes, let's talk about some recruits who check all the boxes in This Week in Recruiting. Thank you. We will start with our prospect on the rise. Our prospect on the rise, we've talked a lot about how good the class of 2022 in quarterbacks is in the state of Texas. Let's talk about the class of 2023 and the quarterback Weston Smith from Colleyville Heritage, who is suddenly shooting up recruiting charts thanks to what he did in California at Steve Clarkson's QB retreat out there in California. He was named one of the top underclassmen at this event, and as a result, Florida State has extended an offer. This does not. I think, folks, this is one of those guys that, like, just now we're kind of people are getting the dirt, getting the dust off of him, and realizing, oh man, taking an actual look at him and saying this Weston Smith kid's going to be a name to know for the next 2 seasons.
A true prospect on the rise because, like you said, no one really knows about him. He moved to Texas from Nevada, and he's going to be playing, the 2021 season at Colleyville Heritage. How about that day when you're Kirk Martin, you wake up and you find out you're going to get a 6'5", 215-pound quarterback transfer. He's walking through your halls. And, oh, by the way, he's good enough to play at Florida State. Yeah, okay, I'll take one of those, please. I think that Colleyville Heritage is going to be a pretty salty team on the field this season. And Weston is a guy who, I read the report from Greg Biggins, a former colleague of mine at 24/7 Sports, a guy who you can trust when it comes to quarterback evaluations. He was one of the founders or one of the originators in the Elite 11 and the Nike camp back when all that first started up. So he knows what he's looking at whenever it comes to quarterback talent. And he had a glowing reports about Weston as a guy to really keep an eye on, one of the top underclassmen there in a collection of quarterbacks from around the country. So this is going to be an exciting guy, not only for people in the DFW to watch next season, but across the state.
Yeah, most certainly, and a guy who I think has a really high ceiling. And here's the other thing about it is you mentioned Kirk Martin. He's landing there at Colleyville Heritage, where Kirk Martin's going to get to work with them. This is a guy who knows a little something about quarterbacks, and he's not going to miss an opportunity to help develop him. This is a guy. Look at those splits, my God! But this is a guy who I think is going to be a name to know here in the DFW Metroplex, and could be one of those guys that, again, because of he moved in, people may not know him, but is probably going to become a name people know here pretty quick. So that is our prospect on the rise. Let's move on to our commit of the week. Our commit of the week. Last week we had to dig deep into the archives to find a commit of the week. We actually have a commit of the week. And it is Clear Lake cornerback Julian Humphrey. He has committed to Florida. Had offers from all over the place, including A&M, LSU, Penn State, USC. This is a guy that Clear Lake uses all over the field. You project him to stick at the cornerback spot and head into the SEC to play for the Gators.
And this was one of those guys, when he first arrived on the scene, he was playing a lot more wide receiver because he's fast and he has good size. I think that he was in our DCTF Rising top 25 for the class of 2022 a couple of Decembers ago. So he's a guy who we've had on our radar for a while because he has the bloodlines of, a top prospect. His brother John Humphrey was at Arizona State and Nevada. And Jordan Humphrey was also a standout in high school. So he's a kid who knows what it takes to be successful. And those younger brothers, man, they're always the ones who have that little bit of extra go juice in them because they have to keep up with their big brothers. And he's extremely athletic, at 6'1", 180, 185 pounds. He's not only a guy with, 10.55, 100 meter speed. He has clocked in at a 21 .17 200 meter, but he's also a 20.5 and a half long jump guy too. So, I mean, he's a guy who really is super athletic and rangy within that frame, and Florida's been able to come in and get one of the Lone Star State's gems. Now, he has committed to Florida, but he does have eyes on official visits to Texas A&M and Penn State, so maybe this one isn't all the way settled yet. There are still going to be schools that have a chance to get him on campus, and he's going to take a look at some of those schools. But things obviously feeling pretty good in Gatorland to have a 4-star commitment from Texas in Julian Humphrey.
Yeah, most certainly. Big time get there for the Gators as they haul in Julian Humphrey out of the Houston area at Clear Lake. We're talking This Week in Recruiting with Greg Powers and Next Level Athlete. Follow him on Twitter at GPowerScout. Follow Next Level Athlete on Twitter at Next Level D1. See his fine work at TexasFootball.com/recruiting. Let's go to Underclassmen of the Week. Our Underclassmen of the Week going to move back up to the DFW Metroplex to the private school ranks. Fort Worth All Saints. You guys are never going to believe this, but Fort Worth All Saints has another stud. This one is their 2023 wide receiver, Chris Paul Freeman. And he is a guy who has been shooting up the charts recently, a guy that everybody's paying attention to suddenly. He just picked up an offer from Texas. He's already got offers from A&M, North Texas, Baylor, SMU, and it feels like this has all come in a flurry recently. Is there a reason why Chris Paul Freeman is out of Fort Worth All Saints is suddenly becoming that name to know?
He's fast.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it helps.
10.54 100-meter speed guy. And, once you start to have your speed verified and you can bring a skill set to the table, I think he had like 900 receiving yards and 500 rushing yards last season playing at Brock. Mm-hmm. Once you have the tape and then the verified speed, I think things are going to start to take off for you. This is, we've talked about these recruitments in the past. This one is opposite of some. He seems like all the in-state schools are coming after him, while the out-of-state schools are lagging behind. He's got Baylor, North Texas, SMU, A&M, and now Texas. And his other 3 offers are Kansas, Pittsburgh, and UCF. So not your traditional recruiting story. Usually you'll see, Texas or Texas A&M or Baylor coming after a guy. Then you see Oklahoma State and Oklahoma and Ole Miss and, Arizona State and all these schools really trying to get in the mix. But this is a guy that in-state schools have identified early and have really been recruiting heavily. So that's something different that we don't see every time we talk about one of these kids who are on the blow up.
Yeah, a guy certainly to keep an eye on it, and maybe people don't know that he had transferred, but yeah, from Brock over to Fort Worth All Saints, he is going to be a star there for the Saints there. Finally, let's round it all out with our Recruit of the Week. Our Recruit of the Week is defensive. Well, let's talk about this. It's an assistant coach. It's an assistant coach. We're going to talk about David Hicks. David Hicks has changed jobs, and we keep up with all the coaching changes around here on TexasFootball.com, but we don't dive into the assistant coaching change, because if we were to do that, Matt Stepp's head would explode. There's too many, okay? But one of them that happened is David Hicks has left his position at Katie Morton Ranch and is heading to Allen. Going to go be on the staff there. Coach Chad Morris is assembling his staff. We've already talked about bringing David Branscombe to be their defense coordinator. They've hired South Lake Carroll's offense coordinator, et cetera. Building the staff. Of note for David Hicks is he has a son, and his son
is a big one.
Is a 2023 defensive end, DJ Hicks. He is also heading, as you would imagine, to go play for Allen. This is certainly a pretty big get here for Allen High, in the sense that there are a number of recruiting services that have him as a 5-star defensive end. And when you watch the tape, it's easy to see why.
Yeah, DJ Hicks is a freak. And this is a true 1-2 punch for Allen, because I've known David Hicks for a few years now, and I think that he's one of the top assistant coaches in the entire state. He's really good on the recruiting trail, really understands recruiting and how to help his players get looks from colleges, which I think is really important. Not that Allen is always going to need a lot of help getting their players looks. I mean, it's like a revolving door for top college programs, but he's a great coach, and he just happens to be the father of one of the top defensive end prospects, not only in the state of Texas, but the entire country. And I'm just looking at the rankings now. Regardless of class, he's going to be one of the top 2 or 3 highest rated defensive linemen in Dallas. You know, you got Omari Abler at Duncanville. You got Bear Alexander over at Fort Worth Brewer now. He's going to be right there in the mix with those guys. He's a bona fide 5-star type of talent. And the one thing that really jumps out to me, and it's going to be an instant game changer for any defense that he plays in, now the Allen defense, his first step quickness is as good as you will see. And I'm trying to think of a name to really compare him to in the Texas ranks, but he's as quick out of the gates as anybody you'll find. And that makes him a fearsome pass rusher, bringing a different element to the table. He's a guy who can flat out get after the quarterback every snap. And that's something quite different than, you know, your traditional defensive end. He's a pass rushing specialist. And I think that he has a chance to one day be making a lot of money in the NFL, chasing around some of the top quarterbacks.
So, Powers, before I let you go, I do want to ask you about today. Today, for those who don't know, we're recording this on Tuesday, June 1st. Today is the end of the dead period. It has finally ended after 14 and a half months of the dead period. From your perspective, what has the last, the first few hours of the end of the dead period been like from where you're sitting? Has it been the absolute flurry of activity that you were expecting?
Well, I like to just see things happening. Today, as of, it's around 3:30, it's Tuesday afternoon, Texas has extended 4 new scholarship offers. They're probably the most active out of everybody that I've watched today. They've extended an offer to Jaden Allen from Aledo, who's a 2024 kid, who's the younger brother of current commit BJ Allen, who happened to just pick up an offer from Alabama today as well. So Alabama's coming after BJ Allen. So Texas is able to counter that with an offer to his younger brother, who's going to be a bona fide stud. I mean, he's got offers from Texas, LSU, USC. So he's a guy that's really on the rise. They've extended an offer, of course, we talked about it, to Chris Paul Freeman. They've extended an offer to Mikel Harrison Pilot, an athlete from Temple, plays a little quarterback for them, but could really play anywhere on the field, broke out as a safety for Temple. And they've also extended an offer for Braylon James, the Del Valle wide receiver who was going to play on the same team as Caleb Burton and recently picked up an offer from Ohio State before Caleb moved over to Lake Travis. Now Braylon is going to be the star of that show there. So 4 big offers by Texas, and you're starting to see some big-time schools like Alabama and Clemson stop in and get their fingers in the pie of guys like, they offered B.J. Allen an offer from Alabama, and Clemson stepped up with an offer for Anthony Hill. So there's a lot of things going on. I can talk about recruiting all day. Don't get me started, Tepper.
I know. It's a problem, and we've only got forever to talk about it. It's Greg Powers of Next Level Athlete. Follow him on Twitter at GPowersScout. Follow Next Level Athlete on Twitter at Next Level D1. See his fine work at TexasFootball.com/recruiting. Hey, Powers, do you have any guesses on who's on the cover? Don't answer that, actually. Don't answer that.
I thought it was Ashley Pickle.
Yeah, that's what's up.
We'll see you next week.
Right there. There it is. The Cannons being on the cover. We're going to go ahead and let y'all know that. But there he is. Greg Powers of Next Level Athlete. Always appreciate him joining us to talk about some of the top recruits in the great state of Texas. You can follow him on Twitter at GPowersScout and follow Next Level Athlete at Next Level D1. All right, we are Texas Football Today. We hope that you will become a Dave Campbell's Texas Football subscriber. You can do that at texasfootball.com/subscribe. You can follow us on Twitter at DCTF, on Instagram, Dave Campbell, at Instagram, Dave Campbell's, and then on Facebook.com/Dave Campbell's, and our YouTube page. Let's go ahead and, since we're with the video team around here, let's shout out the YouTube page. Go ahead and go click that subscribe button. So if you like this show, especially next week when you don't have to listen to Tepper, you can go back and listen to Mallory and I's wonderful dulcet tones coming through and re-listen to those videos. We cut every single video, put it on our YouTube page. That's youtube.com/Dave Campbell's TF. But of course, become a Dave Campbell's Texas Football subscriber. You get 2 magazines a year, unlimited online content, premium podcast, and all the goodies that we have coming up. And speaking of that, Mallory, we've made it to post-magazine season. This was your first time in magazine season. You can talk about the craziness.
It was kind of crazy, and I didn't have a big part in the magazine, but I did do most of the cover wrap interviews with the coaches, and I counted all of them, and I did over 40 of them.
And that's a lot.
Right, but I actually had a lot of fun doing it because I learned so much. Like you said, I'm new to the team, and so I'm still learning all these coaches and all these players and all these teams, and being able to talk to all these coaches and learn about their different offenses, different defenses, it's so interesting. And then I have to go back and transcribe them, so I learn even more about stuff that I didn't hear the first time.
Exactly.
So it's just, I love it. I thought it was super interesting. It was very time consuming, but at the same time,
super interesting.
Right.
So basically, if you want to help us pay Mallory for all of the research that she's doing, become a Dave Campbell's Texas Football subscriber. That's texasfootball.com/subscribe. That magazine that she worked hard on, that we all worked insanely hard on.
Miss the FOMO.
Yes, exactly. Miss the FOMO,
miss FOMO
and become a subscriber today. Because if you do it today, we'll be able to still send you the magazine that'll be coming out. It'll hit subscribers get it first, mailed directly to you. You don't have to go to a store or anything like that. It is so simple. Go ahead and get that done. And just a reminder, said this yesterday, Father's Day is coming up.
Yes.
Father's Day coming up. Perfect gift, perfect price range for a Father's Day gift. They will be able, and it's the gift that keeps on giving. It's like the Jelly of the Month Club. You get to it's the gift that keeps on giving.
It's like the perfect price too. It's not too expensive, but it's enough to show, hey Dad, I love you.
I love you.
Here's an awesome gift for you.
We appreciate
Dads
you.
love football.
Exactly.
Dads love football.
So that is the perfect gift. Again, that is texasfootball.com/subscribe. Give the gift of football to your father. He will love you forever.
Yes, he will. Absolutely.
All right, Mallory, oh goodness, time has no meaning anymore. 2 weekends ago, we caught up with the head coach of the Harker Heights Knights, Coach Jerry Edwards, at the Grapevine 7-on-7 SQT last weekend. They did qualify. We will be seeing them down in College Station here in just a couple of weeks. But we caught up with Coach Jerry Edwards of Harker Heights here on Texas Football Today. Ashley Pickle, Dave Campbell's Texas Football, joined with Coach Edwards, head coach of the Colleen Harker Heights Knights. Coach, man, we're out here. It's May. It's 7-on-7. How good after last season does it feel to be out here with some normalcy?
Well, it's good. We just finished up spring ball, but to get out and be doing what we love to do again, and to be out here competing is exciting for me, just watching, but also for the kids to get out and play. It's been a hard, long road this school year, and so it's kind of a reward and nice to get back to somewhat of a normalcy.
Now, man, y'all are putting Harker Heights on the map a little bit after last year. I mean, making it to the playoffs for the second consecutive year, first time since 2003 that y'all went back-to-back in a playoff appearance. What culture are y'all building down there to bring this program up to what you know it can be?
Well, we got a great group of seniors that are to be, and so when they came in, they kind of wanted to change the dynamics. And, we live in a big military town, so there's been a lot of turnover, kids moving in and out. And this group of kids is really one of the first classes that we've had that have kind of stayed together that entire time. And so you can see that consistency building. And so these group of seniors came in as freshmen, and they've all stayed. They haven't PCS'd out on us or anything like that. So it's nice to have that. And so they've really bought in and tried to raise our game, and they have. And, being able to get in the playoffs back-to-back years for our program was big.
Now, when you're out here, I mean, you're competing against a lot of DFW squads. Y'all are one of the few squads that made the trip up. What kind of experience does that give your guys to make some road travel and get to come up here?
Yeah, it is tough. We got up at 4:30 a.m. this morning, got on the road at 5, so a little bit of disadvantages on the drive, getting here for an 8:45 start, but it is what it is. But, with our district, we match up with 11-6A, and so we're going to play the DFW schools. You mentioned we've been in the playoffs 2 years. Both years we played Dallas schools right out of the gate. Rockwall and Duncanville, and so you need to come up here and see that competition and be exposed to it a little bit, so it'll prepare you in the fall when you come up here and make the trip.
When we talk about 1160, I mean, it's the District of Doom, man. How do you get your guys amped up to say, you know what, we're going to compete with those teams in that gauntlet of a district? Well,
it is tough. I was the old defensive coordinator at Mansfield, and so that district's not new to me, and so I'm used to those football teams. But our guys are not exposed to that, and so we try to do our best. They're going to put 11 on the field. They're going to put 11 coming and playing events like this, where you play South Lake Carroll and Arlington Lamar and some of the premier powers in the Dallas area. It's good experience for our kids to prepare them.
We always like to ask coaches. Y'all are used to being on the sideline. You're yelling at your guys vocal. I saw you struggling over here a little bit. What's it like to have to be on the sideline and let the guys handle it?
It is tough. It is extremely tough because you just want to coach the kids, right? Because it's in your blood. And so, sitting over here and trying to be a spectator is difficult as it can be. I can promise you that. But it's good learning experience for those kids. And it really helps develop them leadership roles and accountability, because now they're kind of more involved and they have to make the decisions, and they're not really being told what to do. And so it's good for them, and it's a good growing experience in that way as well.
And final question for you, Coach. We'd be remiss not to ask, for Knights fans out there watching, what can they expect to see from this 2020 squad of yours?
Man, we're excited. We got a lot of our playmakers coming back, and we put up a lot of points last year, and we're really known for our defense, but offense last year just kind of opened the floodgates, and a lot of those guys are coming back. So we're super excited to see what we can do, and we're going to try to light up the scoreboard as much as we can. We got some big time receivers and a tremendous tailback coming back, and so and just try to slow some teams down. But I think it's going to be a good year for the Knights. I think we're going to compete, and I feel really good about the season.
Well, we're excited to watch it, Coach. Really appreciate the time.
Appreciate it. Go Knights.
And there he goes, Coach Jerry Edwards from Harker Heights down there in the Killeen area. And the reason that we were so pumped to be able to get him is a lot of these SQTs that we've been to have been in the DFW area. So typically you've got the normal plethora of DFW teams, but Harker Heights, man, like he said, they were up at 5:30 or whatever that was to get all the way up here and to be able to have an opportunity to head up 35 and to play these teams. He was pumped, and now they made it. They qualified in another DFW area match this week, and we'll be seeing them down there in San Antonio, or College Station.
Yeah, it was worth it, honestly. I mean, they made it. So, and like these head coaches don't coach the 7-on-7 team. So Coach Edwards making the drive down there with those boys, it says a lot. You know?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and it was funny, too, because it's always, and we've talked about this a lot of times, but at 7-on-7, it's so much fun to sit there and watch the coaches, because they're sitting there, and they don't want to yell, because they know that they can't, but they're going,
they're trying so hard not to say anything.
Exactly. So we appreciate Coach Jerry Edwards from Harker Heights. And now we head over to the helm. I'll tee you up here for America's actual favorite segment, Final Thoughts.
Yes.
Just going to go ahead and clarify that now here. It's not free money. It's Final Thoughts. That's the actual favorite. But Valerie, first day running the computer, I'm over here completely hands off.
Yes.
How was it?
It was good.
How do you think you did?
I think I did okay.
You did. The computer didn't blow up, so
it didn't.
I would consider it a success.
It still says streaming up at the top, so I believe we are still streaming.
We are.
So I think I did okay.
Oh, Ish.
What did Ish
Boo. Say? Get out of here.
He's right. I love that. But hey, you did great too.
Thank you.
I mean, you killed it. But you said, like you said, I mean, you've sat here at my spot for 400 plus episodes watching Tepper.
It was weird. This is nice.
You know what to do.
Sit here and chill. Do a little bit of talking, but no. Great job today. There we go. So like we said, just a reminder here, we will have normal shows tomorrow and Friday. Friday, big day, cover reveal day of the 62nd edition of Dave Campbell's Texas Football. So make sure to tune in Friday, noon, cover reveal. One of the best days around the office. It'll be Mallory's first one. We're excited. Tepper will be back for that. And then after that, we launch him into the sun, and it is a female-run show coming up next week. So with that being said,
also, I was going to say, Shahan put out a cool little thing on Texas Football about our favorite covers.
Yes.
So go and check that out, because all except me. I didn't see the email till late last night. But just for the record, my favorite cover is the one with Mike Leach on it because I love Mike Leach.
There you go.
But anyway, yeah, please go check that out because it's really cool. You get to see Tepper's favorite, Ashley's favorite cover of all time. Go check it out. Shahan did a great job.
Absolutely. And get hyped for Friday. Cover reveal Friday at noon right here on Texas Football Today. But for Greg Powers of Next Level Athlete, Coach Jerry Edwards of Harker Heights, for Mallory Hartley, I'm Ashley Pickle. We got, God, that's bigger. That's heavier than I thought it was.
It's the same thing that I did when I was sitting over there. I like kind of fell a little bit when I held it.
Gotta have the cannons ready to go for that cover reveal on Friday. Vince Young, please come get your Player of the Year trophy. We will see you tomorrow on Texas Football Today.